Well, hello. Summer has long since concluded. Well, I think it's actually still open in a few countries, but we move. And I think it's high time to do some form of a summer review for Nottingham Forest. I want to review how our pre-season went, have a look at our transfer business, and just the general feeling around the club. All from my own perspective, of course. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pre-season. Now, as the saying goes, you shouldn't really look too deep into the pre-season, but I feel that it really does make a difference, and you should pay a bit more attention to it than just writing it all off as a bunch of friendlies. Forest played 6 games this pre-season, and we only lost one of them, winning 3 and drawing the other 2, which is a pretty solid record, I'd say. Did we lose to a team in the Segunda Division of Spain? Yeah. Does that matter, coming into the most competitive league in the world? No. We kicked off pre-season with a commanding win over returning EFL side Chesterfield, before travelling to Spain for 3 matches. In Spain, we drew Sunderland, before beating Millwall, despite them kicking the shit out of us. But the forgotten man, the injured man Omar Richards, scored his first goal for Nottingham Forest, and the way things are going, probably his only goal for Nottingham Forest, as he's currently on loan in Portugal. Fingers crossed we see that man in a Forest shirt for more than just a pre-season. Then we lost to Elche. Not great. Coming back home, we played our first pre-season game at the City Ground for the first time in years, in which was a draw with Villarreal. Wasn't really that good of a game, to be honest. We failed to create quite a few chances, but Danjuma missed a penalty, so hold that, I guess. We finished pre-season with a big win over our sister club Olympiacos in Greece. We did almost blow the game, but winning 4-3, pretty good stuff. I think we played quite well in that match. Overall, it's been a good pre-season for once, and that's built up the confidence of the squad, which has translated to a good start to the season. Generally, it's just feeling positive all around Nottingham Forest, which is the first time you can say that in quite a while, to be honest. It's a very stark contrast to how things felt like this time last season, and I'm all here for it. That's a good pre-season in my books. Alright, let's move on to the juicy stuff now, and we're going to look at the transfer business that Nottingham Forest did over the summer. Now, in our previous 2 seasons in the Premier League, we've been a bit crazy with transfers. The first season we needed to, as we had a squad made up of loans and players not ready for the Premier League, and then the second season we just decided, fuck it, we ball, and bought a lot more players for some reason. But quite a few of them have been good additions, so I guess it works out, you know, you win some, you lose some. So yeah, once again we've been active in the transfer window, building on our solid squad and mostly strengthening positions we need to focus on, and shifting some players who are on the fringes. And most importantly, we solved our PSR issues. Thank you, Leon, and thank you, Newcastle, for helping in that regard. So yeah, let's start off with the incomings, okay? We kicked off the window with the signing of New Zealand international Marko Stamenic, who went straight on loan to Olympiacos. Great start for the boys. We then brought in a player who will and has played for us, and that was German youth international Eric da Silva Moreira. And you know what? He's looking good. I'm a big fan of him. Looked good in pre-season and looked good in the cup as well, so solid signing. Hopefully see a bit more of the lad throughout the season. We then made one of our biggest signings of the summer as we sent Elliot Anderson from Newcastle United. He's already looking like a quality signing, and there were many Newcastle fans sad to see him go, including my mate who's a Newcastle supporter. Didn't want to see him go, but I'm glad we got him because he is phenomenal. Bags of potential and has shown quality throughout pre-season and into the season proper as well. What a player. And then we made a big signing, quite literally, as we signed Carlos Miguel, the 6'8" keeper, tallest player in the Premier League. Fucking hell. He is an absolute unit and was signed off the back of a successful season in Brazil, where he'd kept 14 clean sheets in 25 appearances for Corinthians, which added to our Brazilian contingent. I don't think he was ever brought in as the primary number 1 from the get-go. I think he's there to push Sells for that number 1 spot. Both are good keepers in their own right. It's going to be very interesting to see who ends the season as a number 1. Sells obviously kept his place for the start, but Miguel played in the Carabao Cup match and made some really good saves. He made the error which led to the first goal, but he also made some good saves throughout the match as well. So, it'll be very interesting to see how those two battle it out for that number 1 spot, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Miguel as the number 1, just as I don't mind Sells as the number 1. Better than Turner and Vakadimos, that's for sure. We then signed the Serbian unit that is Nikola Milenkovic to give our defence a much needed boost. Very big fan of this signing. Gives us some much needed height at the back, which should help our set piece woes. And you know, he really impressed in the Euros, I think. You know, he kept Harry Kane quiet. That wasn't injured Harry Kane, to be fair, but he kept him quiet. Kept a clean sheet against Spain the night just gone. So, very, very solid player. Putting some good performances for us so far as well. Very pleased with the signing. He's going to be very, very important for this coming season and into the future as well. What a player, man. What a player. Did not think I'd see a Serbian lining up for Forest, but here we are, and it's fucking class. We then looked to boost our attacking force with the signing of Portuguese winger Jota Silva. Silva can play across the entire front line and has already notched a goal for Forest in the Carabao Cup. His celebration is so cold. I fucking love it. He did that in the Trent end. I saw it. I was like, yes, this is what we need. Just a sick celebration. Big fan. The Portuguese Grealish, as some have called him. I think he's better than Grealish, I will say that. What? Keeping in line with the attacking reinforcements, we then signed Paraguayan Ramon Sosa, who went through a big ordeal to get here, man. That transfer saga was insane. Bro was joining and then he wasn't, and then he protested his current club in Argentina to join us. He's fucking, what a boy, man. He really wanted to be here, and I love it. You know, he's looked like a real bright spot when he's come off the bench. Started in the Carabao Cup, looked good. Played against Wolves and made some really good runs as well, so I'm excited to see what he can do with a bit more game time, and once he's adapted to English football as well. Real player in there. We then dipped into the loan market as we signed Alex Moreno on loan from Villa to further strengthen our defence. This is a player we've been after for 2 years, I think, so finally getting him here is very nice to see. No complaints here from me. He's a good player. Excited to see what he can do for Forest. Again, played in the Carabao Cup and looked pretty solid. Carmo was next through the door, went straight on loan to Olympiacos. Initially, wasn't really a fan of this deal, but as a possible Murillo replacement when he moves on, I really don't mind it. Get him some game time, keep him within the multi-club ownership model that Marinakis is building, so he's really our player. He's on loan for them. So we've got our hands on him. He can play for Olympiacos, where he was last season, and then when Murillo leaves, we can just bring him in. Bosh. I like the sound of that now. On deadline day, we welcomed 2 new signings. A defensive reinforcement in the shape of Morato from Benfica, and James Ward-Prowse on loan from West Ham. Don't really have an opinion on Morato at the moment. I've not really seen any of his games, so I can't really comment on him, but he looks like a solid player, so hopefully we see some good performances from him. But I'm a really big fan of that James Ward-Prowse signing. It's definitely going to help us massively on set pieces, but I just can't really see where he fits into our midfield with the current setup we go for, but only time will tell in that regard. Very excited by that signing. Initially wasn't really, for it, but I've come around now. Looking forward to see James Ward-Prowse cook for the Reds. That's going to be good. We also extended the contracts of Aina, Bolly and Yates. Very big signings. Aina been brilliant. Bolly, lovely defensive option, and Yates is just bleeds Nottingham Forest. What a boy, man. Love him. Departures wise, we've also seen quite a few leave. Felipe has retired from football. What a beautiful man. Still kicking about in Nottingham as well, which is an interesting choice, but he was brilliant for us in our first season back. What a player, man. Shame he did his knees in, but he played through those knee injuries. What a player. Love him. Coyote and Hennessy have also moved on, as well as Loic Mbiso. Probably pronounced his name wrong, but they've also seen their contracts expire, as did Scott McKenna. We'll never forget that promotion campaign for Scott. He was part of the wall of Nottingham, and he was a brilliant player, just unfortunately wasn't cut out for the Premier League, so sad to see him go, but he did a good job for us, and I'm a fan of I just like him, man. He was a good player. Harry Arter finally left as well, which is, thank God for that, because that man just sat there, earning his money, doing his coaching badges to be fair, but finally good to see him go. We are finally free of Harry Arter. Rejoice. Leon saved us from PSR as they signed Mangala and Niakate for quite big chunks of money. Mangala has now gone on loan to Everton, and Niakate, well, I don't think Leon like him that much, unfortunately. But hey, good player for us. Sad to see him go, but we need to shift him on for our PSR, so unfortunately I'll take it. Chilean youngster Brandon Aguilera also joined Rio Ave. Personally, I was not happy with that move. Was really hoping to see Aguilera cook this season for us. He's a brilliant player. There's a real gem in there. Showed it in the FA Cup when he played last season, and it's just a shame we didn't see more of him for Forest, but it is what it is. He's still part of the ownership model, so he could always come back. There's always that chance, and I would love to see that, but just a shame to see him go, unfortunately. Panzo and Richards also joined Rio Ave on loan. Will we see them play for Forest? I don't know. Probably not, let's be real. Lewis O'Brien went back to the MLS as he joined LAFC on loan. Joe Worrell ended his 14-year association with the club as he joined Burnley. Very sad to see him go. That man also bled Nottingham Forest, much like Ryan Yates, the captain of our promotion campaign alongside Lewis Graben. It's a shame how it ended. He wasn't really cut out for the Premier League. Did put in some really good performances while he was there, though. We can't take that away from him. Shame to see him go. I was a big fan of him. But I hope all the best in Burnley, just not if they play us. On deadline day, we also saw Matt Turner on loan to Palace. Josh Bowler got loaned to Preston, and Myton was sold to new MLS outfit San Diego FC. A very busy summer. Mighton could have been the one, an academy graduate, but unfortunately it was just not to be. So hopefully he really cooked in America. I'd love to see that for him. So yeah, in conclusion, I'm very happy with how our summer turned out. Pre-season was successful in my opinion, and I'd say that our summer business was also very successful. We did miss out on signing a new out-and-out striker, but Nuno has claimed we don't need one, so I guess there's that. We were very close on signing both Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal, Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord,
and Omar Mamouche from Frankfurt.
But unfortunately, all those deals fell through. Nketiah seemed to be a disagreement over the wages. Not really too sure what happened there. Reports are saying wages. Again, I don't know. Whilst Jimenez gave us the runaround before opting to remain in the Netherlands on deadline day. You fucking valiant. I'd say, man, hate watching the Santiago Jimenez career until he joins Forest next season. Yeah, it's quite sad actually. I was actually looking forward to seeing us sign a player of his calibre. I was really excited for the Jimenez signing, and I was very sad to see it fall through. Please join Forest next season, mate. Nketiah wasn't really too fussed about, but seeing the Jimenez deal fall through, I would have not minded Nketiah in the end. Still a good player. Probably could have turned it on getting the Prem starts he needs. So sad to see that fall through as well. We do have Chris Wood, so what more do we need? There are still some players at the club who we would have done well to either sell or loan out, with the likes of Manuel Dennis and Hwang Ui-jo still at the club. Can't see them get much game time this season.
Literally, as I'm recording this, Hwang Ui-jo has just signed for Alanyaspor. You couldn't make this up. I think he's gone on a permanent deal, so he may have got some money for him. The club has not announced his departure. I had to see it from Alanyaspor themselves. But hey, that's one member gone.
Maybe Dennis at a push. He could still do something for Forest. I highly doubt it, but there's a chance there. So yeah, the season has started well. 5 points from our first 3 games, and performances have looked pretty good. We were hit with a big loss as Danilo went off with quite a serious injury in our opening fixture against Bournemouth. Hopefully he should be back before the new year though, so I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. He's been a brilliant player for us. 2 draws against teams we've yet to beat since returning to the Premier League is, pain. But a good win on the road against Southampton has put us in good stead and provided some good blocks for us to build upon this season after this silly international break. There's a good feeling around the club as the positive pre-season has been continued into the season itself. Nuno is building something special. We're not going to be challenging for titles yet. That is very far out of the realms of possibility, but a mid-table finish is well within our grasp, and Nuno is the man to take us there. So hopefully we can continue to cement ourselves in the Premier League as a mid-table outfit. I would love nothing more than some mid-table mediocrity for this club. That would be class. Couple of cup runs and we're solid. I've been O2GT. This has been my review of the Nottingham Forest Summer 2024 business and pre-season. I think things have gone well. How did your team's pre-season go? Did you sign 1 million players if you're a Chelsea fan? What was your thoughts on that? If you are a Forest fan, please leave your comments detailing how you thought our pre-season went and whether you agree or disagree with what I've said in this video. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.